Before the Dark Knight's body and mind is claimed by the courage that kills, he will need to rescue the Scarecrow from the clutches of a deadly new villain calling himself the Lion. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Detective Comics issue number 1104 and find out what happens next together, shall we? Alright then, so picking up directly from where the last issue left off, Batman has returned to Gotham City following a lead about a break-in at Arkham Tower and the kidnapping of Jonathan Crane the Scarecrow. Here's the thing though, in his internal monologue, Batman talks about how important a little bit of fear is to his job as a vigilante. It's what lets him know that he's in danger. He thinks about it all the time when he does something even as simple as grappling across the city. Now the Lion's courage toxin has worked its way inside his body, and slowly but surely he's succumbing. He's becoming more reckless, throwing himself around the city with sheer abandon, and the Dark Knight begins to worry at what point he will no longer be able to trust his own judgment. Now, tracking down one of the Scarecrow's kidnappers is easy enough. This guy did the crime, disappeared for a bit, then started drinking and starting fights in local bars. Something that a competent criminal wouldn't normally do. It's made abundantly clear that this guy isn't just working for the Lion, he's also a client too. One that just so happens to be making the most of this brand new courage toxin. Batman gets Crane's location, but before he can handle that problem, he needs to deal with one much closer to home, mainly what will happen if Bruce can't actually cure himself by the time he becomes infectious. Up until now, it's been taking all of Batman's willpower to just kind of reason and logic his way through problems, and even that's starting to break down. We get a very fun little scene wherein Bruce essentially drunk dials Catwoman only to hang up, implying that it's not just his actions that are getting more reckless, it's his emotions too. Fearing what he might do next, Batman only has one person that he can trust, that of course being Superman. He gifts Clark a special flash drive containing what he affectionately calls his own personal kryptonite, 3 foolproof plans to take Batman down, should he lose himself and go too far. Honestly, it's just nice to know that Batman has some fail-safes to deal with himself that don't involve killer robots or psychotic alternate personalities, but I digress. If Bruce is going to defeat the Lion and save Scarecrow, he's going to need to come prepared. It's because of that he constructs a brand new set of bat armor called the Quarantine suit. It should buy Batman all the time he needs to wrap up any loose ends, and it also looks super cool as well. It's at that moment Damian Wayne Robin ends up making his presence known. It seems that the Lion sent a very expensive bottle of liquor to try and taunt Bruce. It's clear that this whole situation is growing very dire very quickly, and in a very sweet scene, Damian actually lets down his guard and hugs his father. Which, you know, come to think about it, Damian isn't usually so free with his emotions. Usually he's a lot more guarded and a lot more, afraid. Methinks that perhaps Batman is already more infectious than he cares to let on. But more on that in a minute. Where is Scarecrow being held right now? Well, it seems that the Lion took him deep into Gotham Woods in order to make him a centerpiece of what is very clearly meant to be a trap. Dozens of different Scarecrows are all set up on posts in the middle of a cornfield, but only one is wearing an Arkham outfit. Batman takes the Bat muscle car, which also looks very awesome in case you're wondering, off-road, and while he thinks he's being very careful, he ends up stumbling directly into the trap that was obviously always meant to be a trap. Batman ends up stumbling directly into an ambush as the Lion reveals that he actually dressed up like Scarecrow too and uses the opportunity to take a major chunk out of Batman. The new quarantine suit might be very cool, it might serve a purpose, but unfortunately it's big and bulky and slow, allowing the Lion to really get the upper hand early on in the fight. Now, Batman never clocked it back in Kaznia, but the Lion is clearly very well trained in the art of hand-to-hand combat. In fact, Batman recognizes the exact fighting style he's using, though in this particular issue he doesn't exactly reveal where he knows it from. The Lion gets pretty cocky too, figuring that he set the perfect trap for Batman, poisoned him with courage, and set him up to be cut down all alone in this field. Only here's the thing, Batman Batman is still fighting smart and he didn't come here alone at all. He's backed up by the rest of the Bat family, who pop out from the rest of the field riding their own custom vehicles. I am particularly a fan of Damian's Robin four-wheeler. Seriously, if this thing exists, tell me you wouldn't buy it. The assembled family duke it out with all of the other Scarecrow henchmen who have been enhanced by courage toxin. When it looks like the bad guys are on the ropes, the Lion decides to pull out his trump card, igniting the entire cornfield around everyone to help cover their escape. The good guys all fall back except for Damian, who ends up giving chase. He might very well have jumped through the fire and the flames if Nightwing wasn't there to pull him back. Again. Is this just Damian being his regular brash Damian self, or is there a good chance that he too has fallen under the sway of the courage that kills? Either way, Batman did ultimately succeed in getting the Scarecrow back, and he has one major bombshell of a revelation involving the Lion. For starters, his name isn't actually Louis King. It's Leo Kingsford, a brilliant young mind who came to Crane many years ago looking to try and master fear, or at least that's what the Scarecrow thought. In reality, the Lion looked to conquer fear so that he might finally have his revenge on Batman, but how and why? Well, I guess we'll have to pick up the next issue to find out, won't we? And so that was Detective Comics issue number 1104, everybody, and man, in a year that has been filled to bursting with excellent Batman stories, it really does feel like something so consistently good as Taylor's work here on Detective Comics really doesn't get the praise it deserves, which is why, of course, I'm all the more willing to sing it. Plenty of Batman stories have played around with the idea of fear and how heavily it affects Batman and the world around him. I mean, after all, criminals are a superstitious and cowardly lot. Everything that Batman Begins was about, etc., etc., but I really appreciate that Tom Taylor flips a lot of those ideas on their head in this story. Yes, fear can be bad, fear can be weaponized, but it's also something deeply primal and something very human. We need a little fear to make sure we don't do something stupid, reckless, or dangerous. And when you remove fear from the equation, well then all bets are off, aren't they? Also, hey, I'd be hard-pressed to not mention, everyone in my comment section has been quick to mention the Scarecrow, the Lion, Wizard of Oz connection. I suppose if we're following that line of thinking, then in this scenario, Batman is actually the Tin Man, or at least a man in a tin suit. Something to think on, I know I certainly will. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this issue another well-deserved 8 out of 10. Consistently great stuff, and I cannot wait to get the Lion's full origin in the next issue.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way, everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.